In the incident response world that you're in, what are the biggest challenges that you see that you're facing right now?
I think some of the biggest challenges we're seeing is, sort of one. I I think as we adopt more technologies, to be honest with you, it's a bit of a challenge to struggle and get your detections and your alerting just right. For example, alert fatigue is a very real thing, and so when you start onboarding new systems and new technologies, it's very hard to tune your solutions to get the things that you're actually concerned about, but without just absolutely putting so much on analysts that they get burned out and they are sometimes chasing things that are just almost impossible to answer. Um, those are sort of some of the problems internally that it's constantly being worked on, right? Always trying to get um, the detections, the monitoring working right without sending sort of low value alerts and in such high volume. So those are definitely some of the challenges. I think the other things is again, as we shift more from the hybrid model that a lot of us are operating in, is that transitions more and more to the cloud. Definitely creates different challenges. And then also when we get into things like the supply chain, I think that's gotten more and more critical in recent times. So, for example, a lot of dependencies, a lot of solutions, a lot of those kinds of things that are in tons of environments, it really becomes a challenge. And even for developer teams. So I think of something like Log4j, for example. Understand it's a bit of a dated example by now, but it's one of those interesting things where it got fixed a lot of places, but then as repositories got pushed out to different platforms, sometimes the old version would get reintroduced back into the code base on those platforms that are being relied on, and all of a sudden, what was fixed for a while is broken again. And if you don't catch it or you don't know, now you're all of a sudden vulnerable to something that's got a high CVSS score of 10. That's very simple to exploit. I've given demos on that before, and yeah, it's just it's an ongoing cycle. And and there have been other challenges as well where you get shared secrets that accidentally get leaked, whether they're usernames and passwords that are hard coded plain text, or encryption keys, those kinds of things, API keys, a lot of things that accidentally get leaked that can then be exploited by anybody that happen to be looking for it. And it's always a challenge to make sure that you find those things before the threat actors do. And,
Right.
and really, everybody has to be testing their security these days, because I guarantee you the the cyber criminals out there are testing the stuff, whether you are or not. And again, the goal is to hopefully find these things before they do, because if they do, it's going to be a bad day. And one of the reasons I like to go out and talk about a lot of this stuff is I get really frustrated. The bad guys, they win too often. It really just sort of irks me that we still they're so successful at it. And it's a challenge to stop them. And so that's one of the reasons I go out and try to evangelize information security stuff as much as I can, trying to do whatever I can to hopefully make a bit of a dent in that, and really move that needle forward to helping folks secure their security postures. And if and where possible, reduce their attack surfaces, those sort of things.
That's a big thing. It's funny you talk about vulnerability management and the threats associated with it is probably one of the biggest use cases we see right now with our customers is trying to get their hands around managing those vulnerabilities, prioritizing those vulnerabilities, and just being able to prevent as much as they can. So it's probably one of the biggest things that we see in our customer base right now.